and now there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow, all aboard the great Indian points and miles show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the great Indian points and miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.
Hello and welcome to a special live edition of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. We're super excited to be coming to you live. Yes, we're broadcasting right now live on YouTube and X or Twitter, as we used to fondly call it back in the day. Thank you everyone for joining us. We see quite a few regulars here. Debabrata is here. Deb, good to see you again. You responded on Twitter, you'll be joining. Good to see you bright and early. Akul's a regular. He's pretty much one of us. Akul, good to see you there. We also see that, we've got Maitresh, Sanjay, Gautam. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Whether you are here for the love of lounge access, the thrill of redemptions, or just to see if the topic today, which is IDFC's new card, can dethrone your current favorite, I think we're all in the right place. This is today designed to be a two-way conversation. If you're watching on YouTube, drop your comments in the chat, and Dhimant, me, and Ameya are able to see them. What we can do is then feature them on screen, and of course, we'll respond to your questions and thoughts live. If you're tuning in from Twitter, just hit reply on the tweet where this stream is running, and we'll be able to pull up your tweet and talk about it on the show. So, comment hai, thought hai, sawal hai, kuch bhi hai. Just put it out there. More than excited to talk to you. So let's start with a few questions that we have for you, and hopefully you can put them in the chat. And we've enabled auto comments, so all of you can see today. Normally we manually flash it, but today we've enabled this new feature, and all of you can see each other, greet each other, talk to each other, continue this live conversation on screen. So start by telling us which city you're joining from, what's your favorite credit card today and why, and what are you most curious about today? So drop them in that chat, and let's have that fun discussion while we are talking and while we are listening as well. There are already very cool questions there. Saksham is saying 50k fee is justified. Pata karte hain. Dhimant and Ameya have done a lot of homework, and today we're going to put them to the test. Dekhte hain homework sahi tarike se kiya hai nahi, and whether we'll be able to justify that or not. We've already seen more comments from Harsha. He's from Bangalore. Maitresh is from Bangalore. Lavan is from Bangalore. So good to see a lot of Bangalore. We've seen in our analytics also Bangalore dominates the crowd. But close enough second is Mumbai. And then you've got Namish joining in from Mumbai. So please do put in which city you're joining in from. What's your favorite credit card? And what are you most curious about? And we'll get this party started. Let's talk about what we're here to discuss today. Every now and then, the Indian credit card landscape throws us a curveball, and you wonder, "Aaj kya ho gaya, yaar? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this ugly?" Right? And today, that curveball is stemming from a revamped IDFC credit card, which is called the IDFC FIRST Private Credit Card. It's metal, it's shiny, and it's got something very interesting and peculiar called karma points. अब नेकी कर दरिया में डाल ये तो सुना था, but a bank giving you karma points, this makes it very interesting. There's 0% forex, I'm told, lounge access along with spa access in the lounge, some very cool Epicure privileges, and a reward multiplier that potentially looks very, very strong. But I have three questions, largely for Dhimant and Ameya, and for all of you. One, is it actually worth the hype? Like somebody asked, is it worth 50k? It's not just 50k, it's 50k plus GST. So throw in that 9k extra, 59k, right? Second, should this be your next premium credit card move? How does this pit against existing stalwart cards that we all love, defend, and thrive upon in our wallet? And three, is it just a pretty card or is there more meat to it? Let's see what we're here to decode, live and unscripted. And with that, we'll get started. Let's welcome our featured guest today, Dhimant, the OG of decoding travel with points, like always, is joining us with his razor sharp analytics. And along with that razor sharp analysis, he also has no fluff verdicts. Dhimant को अगर कुछ पसंद नहीं आया तो बोल देगा ये बकवास. That's unscripted, to your face, Dhimant, for you. If he says it's worth it, you can pretty much take it not just to heart but also to your rewards portal. Dhimant, swagat hai. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Aadil. And one thing I'll say before you go to Amaya, we all were thinking, right? We all want a piece of the pie of these cards. Let's not forget the banks also want a piece of a pie of our money. Like you're seeing this episode on episode, like how each bank is coming in trying to get our pie, right? So excited to be here, man. I think Friday evening बहुत जरूरत है इस podcast का. Hopefully all of us are in the same boat. So let's enjoy the show.
Awesome. Swagat hai. I see already that more than 275 people have joined. We are broadcasting, like we said, live on Twitter and YouTube. I can see that 90 people have joined live on YouTube. From Dhimant's handle, we've got 65. From Great Indian Mile handle, we've got 68. And we've got another 68 from Aadil's Twitter handle. So combined, I'm seeing that we have just crossed 300. And hopefully we'll get a lot more people tuning in and a great interaction started. So Sakyam, Dhawal, next one logistics. Yaar, apna naam bhi bata do yaar. Next one logistics. Maybe it's your business handle that you're tuning in from Hyderabad. Harit is one of us again. He's a regular on the show. Good to see you, Harit. Abhishek is also here. So Abhishek has also very secretly helped us prep for this show. So Dhimant and Ameya, all the good IDFC stuff that I kept forwarding to you so that we prepped for this episode just about an hour back before we went live. Abhishek Ajit Saria has been forwarding us those links. So Abhishek, thanks for all your help so far, and hopefully we do justice to your time today. Rohan,
Awesome.
Param, Elizan, Ayan, Sanjay. We have people from all kinds of places: Delhi, Amravati, Bangalore, Chennai. Big thanks, guys, for tuning in. Our second guest for today. I think pretty much everyone by now knows Ameya as our resident double dip champion. And Ameya is here to slice through the jargon and tell us if the IDFC private card is all sizzle, shine, or really sparkle. And when Ameya talks sweet dips, double dips, the world listens. Ameya, swagat hai.
Hey, thanks, Aadil. Yeah, I'm great to do this on Friday. And there are some very interesting calculations with the IDFC card, especially with their 70%, 30% redemption. We'll get into it. We'll get into some of the corner cases. And I'm glad that there's yet another bank coming up with a good offering. Competition is always good for consumers. So yeah, let's dissect.
Awesome. There's a very cool comment which I can't resist sharing. Ameya. Saksham says that Ameya is looking like a first venture. So yaar, ye comments are gold hai, guys. Keep putting these, like whatever you feel, right? About Ameya, Dhimant.
First venture, first.
बहुत मजा आता है when we read these. Dhimant, sorry,
first bencher sitting in Centurion Lounge लग रहा है मुझे तो पीछे से अपने फ्लाइट दिख रही है कोई तो.
This is Tokyo.
There's another one for Dhimant. Akash is saying people think about Netflix and chill on weekend, but Dhimant Bhai is like, let's talk about miles and points.
Absolutely. By the way, my new favorite is Apple TV. So I'm spending a lot more time on Apple TV these days.
And I think Karan is rightly saying, guys, please start. So enough of time pass. Let's just get started. So in the interest of that, let's get started. There's another one before we get started. Amit says, please make a Japan episode. Amit, our first episode was on Japan, yeah. So go take a look at that. And if that doesn't cover, I know that we didn't probably cover everything about Japan, but it's a good 1.5 hour of content. So if there's more that you want to know about Japan, please let us know what specifically, and we'll try and do a V2 of Japan because there's so much more. And all three of us love Japan. We've all been there. Okay, chalo, let's get started. Now, let's get started with our first segment. The first segment is the piping hot IDFC FIRST private credit card. Dhimant, Ameya, question starting off with you. We've seen luxury cards with lounge access, spa benefits, metal finishes are like a regular feature today. But this one's adding something called karma points. There's Epicure is what we're hearing. There's 0% forex that makes it very interesting. On paper, when you look at it, or on potentially when you go to the landing page or somebody sends you a PDF brochure, this looks super, super strong. Is it compelling enough though for serious points collectors? Let's start off with you, Dhimant. Kya lag raha hai?
Yeah, so two things which stand out immediately, right? Immediate reactions पहले बताता हूँ. Like immediate reactions पे I feel that it looks like a successor to the erstwhile reserve in some way, right? And also probably because it's up in a private segment. I mean, Burgundy Private by default becomes a competitive card. But the way I look at it, because there is no 25,000 is the upper limit, your ability to, let's say, your ability to earn lot of miles in 1 year get amplified by these cards, right? So if you are one of those people who need miles in a year, काफी बड़ा number जमा करना है, this is the kind of cards you need, right? And hence a classic example would be if you have a lot of spends this year, 25,000 upper limit into 12, you know what you're talking about, right? So this is the card you need to get, and then you'll be able to justify that 50,000 spend very easily, right? So in my head, I think I have been one of those guys who have advocated not worrying about paying for cards. And for me, if I pay for a card, at least 5x to 6x I should be able to take out of that card, right? So this looks in at least in that zone. And that's my first reaction, at least.
Okay. Ameya, coming to you, there's a very interesting thing about a 30K spend on this card. Can you decode that for us and talk a little more about, like, would you consider this your default online spend card if you hit 30K monthly, or does it need a backup card of sorts to fill gaps?
I mean, it's good, but that wouldn't be the prime reason why I would go for the card, right? And in fact, my first reaction was very similar to what Dhimant said, and we've not talked about it, but I actually felt it like a reserve card. It's very similar to reserve, except it's like somewhere between reserve and Infinia in a sense, right? Like you don't have too many miles, you don't have miles partners, but with respect to value proposition, with respect to pricing, with respect to forex rewards, I think it is very similar to reserve. I think the card can be worth it for different reasons. Maybe not that 30K reason, but for a few more reasons. It's asymmetric. We'll get into it. We'll get into where I think the card can come in very handy.
Okay. Guys, Sanjay made a comment that my volume is slightly lower when compared to Dhimant and Ameya's. I've tried to change my mic settings. Is this better? If it is better, please put it in the comments. Dhimant, Ameya, is it any different to you? Is it the same?
It's a little muffled. Your voice is a little muffled. I can hear a little muffle in your voice.
It was better
The volume
before?
seems fine. Yes.
Okay, just 1 second. Let's try this again. Just trying to troubleshoot. Is this better now?
Yes, this is better. Go with this one.
Let's continue with this. All right. So, Dhimant, let's dig into this a little bit more. How does the reward structure of this particular card, of the first card, compare with other high-end ones? Like, there's already question in the chat about Infinia versus EPM. So, can you do like a quick Infinia versus EPM versus this particular card? And let's focus a little bit on the 10x multiplier. Can this be a serious contender to even Burgundy Private for that matter?
Yeah, so let's get the positioning right first, right? So although we call Infinia and EPM as equals and premium cards, there is a category above Infinia and EPM as well, right? So the way I look at it is there is that private segment where I think HDFC has been speaking about doing the inferior reserve forever now. That's the segment we are talking about, right? So for me, anything about 20,000 rupee fee falls into another universe altogether, right? So in my head, 3 and 3.3% is the reward rate for Infinia and EPM, the base rate I'm talking about. This is a 6.6% base rate, right? So we are talking about a scenario where if you're going to use these points for travel, it's going to give you a 6.6% return, right? So in that sense, it competes with the 6% of the Burgundy Private, right? So, and people who've been following me, they know that I love the 6% no-brainer reward rate. It's an awesome feeling to have when you get 6% back. So in my head, that base rate is awesome. Second, it stands out because it has lesser exclusions than other cards. So your reward rate may not be 6.6% on certain other categories, but if you have decent amount of spends on, let's say, insurance or rent, this at least gives you a point. So that even if it is not 6.6, you may end up getting an average of 6, 5.8, 5.5, and that's a great number. Now, coming to the multiplier, there is a 10x, right? We are talking about almost like a 8, flights pay, it's almost 20% if I'm not mistaken, right? Am I 18.8 or something of that sort, right? And the hotels pay, it is roughly 40x, 40% back. So in my head,
real
sorry?
rate will come down lesser because of some of the redemption clauses, but in that vicinity, yeah.
Yeah, but if you are to take that like-to-like comparison on multipliers on platform like SmartBuy or an iShop, I mean, the right way to look at it probably would be a 40% back on hotel bookings, which is 33% on, let's say, an Infinia and 36-35% on an EPM, right? So in that sense, Aadil, it's an amazing card. So let me put it this way, right? If you have domestic travel as your priority, and I've spoken about SmartBuy a lot, I feel this is a great card to have. Obviously, we are all going to say, if Miles partner aa gaya, so this will be even better. But it looks like base green light from me, base earning on excluded categories, kuch to mil raha hai, green light from me. Multipliers on hotels and flights, green light from me. What I'm not sure about at this point of time is vouchers, because that's something that Infinia holds very close to their heart. Abhi Axis se bhi wo gayab ho gaya hai. But that's something that I'm not very clear on how it's going to pan out. Right. So at least from an earning perspective, these are very exciting numbers, what I'm saying. I mean, the revaluation has suddenly sparked so much interest only because of this multipliers, right? So
Big follow-up question hai. So Shubhankar, we hope we answered your question. There's another very interesting one that I want to feature on screen now, which is by Ajit. And Ajit asked this question: at this rate, are you guys surrendering the lifetime free Magnus Burgundy? 10 lakhs can potentially free up. I got Dhimant's answer, but I want to double click and get him to answer specifically and ask Ameya this one as well.
यार माफ कर दो, नहीं हो पाएगा ये तो अजित. I mean, on a serious note, I mean, I'll say what I feel about lifetime. I think it's ये वो 3 months का period था जो which will be spoken about forever, right? Because it's such a rewarding card. जिसको भी LTF मिला है, they are very lucky. So obviously, if this was a joke, then I get it. If this is a serious question, then obviously it's not going to happen. I mean, I don't mind putting 10 lakhs and keeping it in Axis, honestly. By the way, Mera was via salary when I got the card, so it was not via 10 lakhs, right? So at least that's my answer. But I'm hoping that
तीनों का via salary है. Like all of us have done it via salary. But Ameya, your thoughts on this question? Very important question.
No, very similar. I think Magnus Burgundy stays. Though I think this card can be very nice in certain situations. I don't think I am in that certain situation. But if they choose to decide to give it to me for free, then I will pick it up.
Cool. There's a good comment that's coming in from Samarpreet, who says, thanks to Dhimant and Ameya, I booked my Italy revenue flight for later this year and booked Accor for 2 days in Florence from the points accumulated. That's fantastic to hear. Thanks, Dhimant and Ameya, for helping Samarpreet. Samarpreet, also put in the chat, na? Like, for example, how did you book your flight? Like, what did you use to book the flight? Are you getting points from it? How many points are you getting? And then when you're doing Florence also, where are you staying? How many points did you burn? Tell us a little bit so that, people in the community can also learn. So I think it'll be very helpful for all of us. So go ahead and do that.
Samarpreet, one trivia. Sorry, Adil, I'm just going to jump in. So Samarpreet, one quick thing, like whenever we meet as a group, right? Me and Amaya always discuss this. Like Italy happens to be our favorite episode, the episode that we did on Italy, right? And we spoke so much about food also. So assuming that you also went to the food section, also once you go, please share your food experiences with us. It will be amazing to hear, and do have a look at it, man.
Cool. There's another one I want to call out before we move to the next one, which is, there's a fun comment from Athar Ali. Aadil ने redemption से नया चश्मा लिया. भाई redemption से चश्मे नहीं मिलते.
Lens card voucher.
ये मेरा कंप्यूटर के सामने बैठने वाला चश्मा है. This is my work chashma that I use every day. But I'd rather burn my points for hardcore redemptions of flights and hotels rather than chashma. Chashma to le sakte hain. But with that, let's come to my next question. So my next question is to Ameya. Ameya, ये karma points का क्या scene है यार? What are karma points? Are these points like a PR spin, or are they like legit good points? And can they be used in a measurable way? I know you've got a spreadsheet prepped up as well. So let us know if this is the time you want to screen share and explain. And then let's get into the details of these points.
No, karma points and all is useless. I think a number of programs do this thing. I mean, I'm all for charity, but I will help out in my own way with hard cash. I'm not going to trust a big corporation to, do good and, make myself feel good about it. When I have to help people, I will help in my own way. But we can get to the spreadsheet. Let's actually do this. Adil, will you be able to share? Shall I share?
No, please go ahead and share. You have it, Ameya, so please go ahead and share.
One minute.
While Amaya is sharing, I think Mera thought ye hai, Adil, on the karma points at least is that I don't want to probably double guess the intention of the bank, right? But at least for people who don't or aren't able to do charity in their own way, this could be a way of giving some incentive to do charity, right? I mean, I don't know whether for us, I mean, it can't be a reason why I would take this card. Let's be clear.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool comment by Devansh. He's booked Delhi to Milan and Geneva by Saudi at 30k INR via Atlas, so 10% points back. Absolutely. And very precious points at that, Devansh. Thanks for sharing. There's also Bala. I think this is a fun comment to share here. Bala says that he enjoyed his first redemption with IDFC First Wealth Credit Card by booking a 2-day stay at Taj Fisherman Cove. Yaar, Bala, is this 2 nights or 1 night? So if you can put that in the chat and let us know, that'll be very helpful. Also, since you're already using the card, give us 3, 4, 5 top features of the card that you're really, really enjoying. So put it up in the chat. It'll be good to hear from you, and we can share with the community.
This is the first wealth card, right? Not the first private card. That's a different card, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And I think one more thing, somebody was asking, I think, about the joining benefits as well, right? I think from a lens of the fee, I think 1 free night in Accor and 1 free night for Kilner at least kind of makes it very exciting. Also, I feel it may still not be, and plus you're getting points as well, right? So from a lens of fee, it's very high, but I think it fairly compensates for the fee that you pay. I found it very attractive, to be honest.
Yeah, I love stories like these. I'm just switching gears here, but Rohan says that he saw the Qatar episode and he got 2 business class tickets from Milan to Delhi for 1.1 lakh points through Infinia, Finnair, British and Qatar. This is something that we spoke about, and that is pure class because I think this was because if you move from Infinia to BA or Qatar directly, it comes to 0.5. But if you route it through Finnair, then it remains 1:1. So power to you, Rohan, man. This is so awesome to see. Ameya, ready to screen share?
Yeah. Please go ahead. And I'm switching to the tab.
Yeah, let's go ahead and share.
Aadil, I've shared. You might need to present it from the software.
Yes, now it's on screen. There you go.
Okay. Before anything else, I will flash the link also, but tiny URL link here if you want to get hold of the spreadsheet. I think it should be shared with everyone. Let me just check.
Yeah.
And that link is a viewer. Done. Okay. I think before getting into that elephant in the room, people will go clickbaity and say 40% return on hotels, right? I want to talk about the broader program itself. So what IDFC has done in their revamp is the following. They're saying that, you will get greater rewards when you spend on certain things. Hotels, airlines, there's multipliers that's out there. There's 3 sets of multipliers. They're pretty much across the board. There's a hotel multiplier, there's an airline multiplier, and then there's a multiplier saying, okay, anything above 30k, you will get 10 points for every 150, anything below that. So that number is different for different cards. However, I think the thing to sort of call out here is that when you have to do a redemption, number one, you can only do a redemption up to 70% of the value. Number two, you can only, the rest of the 30% you pay with your card and you will not earn any points on it, right? So this makes the calculation a little dicey. And, I think there's an effective real reward rate of sorts that I've calculated. But, let me get into this. Aadil, if there's any questions that come up on the screen, you just tell me and stop me and tell. I'm focused on the sixth sheet.
Please go ahead and complete, Ameya, and then we'll bring questions one after the other.
Sure. So I think I've again broken this sheet down into the first private, Mayura and Ashwa. First private, the big go-to thing according to me is number one, hotel spends. You're getting an effective rate of about 34%. Right? This is pretty much. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is in line with what you're going to get on Infinia or what you're going to get on EPM, right? As is the effective airline rate, which is similar to what you're going to get on those cards as well. So positioning wise, with respect to Smart Buy or the new ICICI program, I think these cards are, the first private is positioned similar to there. The real big benefit, however, I see is the regular spend one as well as the rent one, right? So regular spends, you're getting up to a 6.5 almost percent real reward rate, right? You compare this to EPM getting a smaller rate, or even your Infinia getting a 3% and so on. I think for someone with spends which are not really getting to that 1.5 lakh boundary, which your this one has, Magnus Burgundy has, but still decent spends, I think this is a good card. The other very interesting one is on rent spends, right? This is getting you a 2% on rent. The way I see it, it is pretty much uncapped. I don't think I saw anything with respect to capping here. So when you contrast against Magnus Burgundy, which gives you up to 50k rent, it is going to get you 4%. But if for whatever reason someone's got like really big rent spends, this can open up as a very decent option. So all in all, these are the true reward rates that I've determined for this one. Is it worth the joining fees? Maybe not, is my take. Dhimant will probably disagree with me. You spend 50,000 plus GST, you get one Accor night, you get one ITC night. And I think it's a good card, but I don't know if it is worth the extra delta in that 30k that comes over there. The one, yeah, go on.
No, please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. The one that I actually find a little more exciting is the Mayura card, for that matter. Right? They've got a similar kind of a thing. So again, all of my redemptions that I've put out here, they've got a redemption ratio for travel spend, and that is what I've put into the calculation. For vouchers, these numbers are going to change. You can just clone and change it. So I think just to call out, first private, for travel spends, one reward is equal to 1 rupee. You see the ratio here, 1 to 1. For Mayura, you're actually going to get a half rupee. So you can see reward value is half of the total rewards. And first, Ashwa, it is 40 paise. So you can see the calculations here. But for Mayura, it's a real nice one over here. The one I want to call out is this one, this bracket, the F1, which is any spend above 20k, you're going to get a 3%. This combined with the zero forex markup, which you get both the first private and Mayura. But for a 6,000 rupees card, to get a 3% reward rate on forex, I think is a pretty good deal, right? So I think again, first private, the way I see it, it's a great card if you don't have access to Magnus Burgundy or Infinia EPM for this hotel and airline spends. It's a good one. Also for regular spends, big uncapped regular spends, it's a good card. Rent, it's a good card. I don't think it is worth the fees, but I do hear that certain customers are being offered this as a lifetime free card, depending on TRV and whatnot. If you get that, I think it is a great card to pick up. Mayura for a 6,000 card, I think for this one, for the forex spend of 3% return, is probably a good one to pick up. So if you are planning a foreign trip, I think Mayura becomes a very good proposition. Ashwa similarly has got a 1% forex charge and you only get a 2.6% return. So Ashwa, the way I see it is that if you are unable to get other cards which get you travel benefits, right? Like if you are unable to get hold of an Atlas, for instance, then something like Ashwa can actually be a good card for going for airlines. It's got a relatively lower fee and decent reward rates across the board. But that's where I would put it out.
Yeah,
Have you
Ameya, very interesting analysis. I'll tell you, I kind of agree with you on most of the points that you said, right? So, personally, if you ask me, am I going to take the dive for the 50,000 fees? I don't think so at this point of time, because I feel the benefits that you're getting, uh, a slightly lower version or a watered down version is available in Mayura, which again is very exciting, to be honest, at a 5,000 rupee, right? So, if somebody is looking for their entry level luxury, and if you're getting a good looking metal card, right? It's a good card to hold in your hands. Plus, there is a decent reward rate, and you also have zero forex, which I think a net reward of anything above 3% in forex is brilliant, right? So I
Oh,
kind of agree with you. Uh, pretty awesome card as the first card,
I will also
first
call out
luxury
one,
card, I would say.
at least on paper, and it's not something that I have used yet. But I believe Mayura definitely has it. First Private has it. I will recheck on Ashwa. But they have this, insurance of sorts, saying that, hey, for
Yes.
whatever reason you need to cancel your flights, we will refund your money back. Now, need to go through terms and conditions properly. But it's a good proposition at times where we need to apply for a visa, and that doesn't work out. I don't know what all is covered, what is not
So
covered.
So I have used that feature, Amaya. It is also available on the IDFC Vistara card. The similar feature where you get that insurance as part of your cancellation. And I had an Indigo flight which got cancelled because of bad weather. And even though they had announced it 3 hours back, I was able to call IDFC, and they gladly agreed to do the insurance. So they have a back-end tie-up with the insurance company, and the process was pretty smooth. Like obviously, it works when the airline cancels it. It doesn't work when you cancel it willfully. So that's the TNC you need to look for. So it may not work in a visa scenario, but
Okay.
it works on flight cancellations due to natural situations, etc. I don't know if anybody else has been able to get because of visa rejection, etc. At least I've not tried it.
I see. Yeah, so I think all in all of this, I find Mayura is the card that is the most attractive. It's a 6,000 plus taxes fee. You get 4,000 worth of benefits. And there is a 3% return on Forex above 20K, which I expect that if you're going on a trip, you're going to be spending this and more anyway. So I think as a Forex card, I think it is one of the best ones out there. I think this rivals a lot of the premium cards that we may want to use for forex, gives you a better rate, and is a much more accessible. 6,000 fees is
Yes,
much better than the higher fees
Mm.
that
Yeah,
others.
yeah. But Amaya, one very interesting thing that Centurion guy had put a comment, right? Adil, if you can just bring that comment up if possible, saying that a lot of people are applying a lot of those super luxury cards in FOMO, because a lot of people. It's very important, as per us at least, that you figure out whether it makes sense for you or not, right? And
But
I'll tell you a perfect example, right? I use a lot of super premium cards, but I was not still able to make a sense of the platinum charge. Like it didn't work for me. Now the way I see it is, if you are one of those guys who are not 100% sure, don't take the jump for a 50,000 rupee card, right? Take the jump for Mayura, even if it doesn't work out. Your up the downside is limited to 5,000 rupees, right? Matlab, 50,000 rupees is too big. So, for example, a lot of people I've seen who even taken the reserve card in FOMO. Now they didn't have any plan for using a core. They got the core nights, but they did it forcefully as a trip, right? So just try and align your spends and plans rather than running behind a card because you didn't get the Infinia. That's why you want another super premium card. This is not an ego battle, right? Mere mind mein, see whether it fits you and then go for the card, right? So that's at least my suggestion. And I agree with Centurion guy. For most of the people, you will see 3-4 card ka combo works amazingly well. Right, so just stay in that zone and see whether the card makes sense for you. By the way, Mayura, I actually honestly feel that if I were to take a dive for one card, I will also take the Mayura.
yeah, in fact, similar situation for me also. I have the EPM, and the only reason I use EPM is to get the buy one get one free on movies. It's like
And maybe
you
vouchers.
Huh?
And maybe the vouchers.
I don't even use it for vouchers. I got pissed off with them with the fee that they are charging. Just for that, I will not use it.
Correct. And yeah, Devansh is making a very good point. Mayura has that 4K cashback. So you do 4 transactions, you get immediately 4K cashback. Right.
Yeah.
So आपका 5,000 जो आपने भरा है, like you get part of it right away back. Right. So just makes sense. I mean, if you want to
There's
take the
also
dive.
dining program they had. I don't know if that offer is still there, but I know Dhimant, a good friend of ours, Arjun, got this card a while back. And I know he went for a nice lunch with family too. I don't have that offer still. We'll have to go and check.
Correct.
Cool. You spoke about buy one get one EPM on movies. It also applies to events, and you can use it like for music events also. Like for example, last week there was this amazing Qawwali night that happened at Sabha, which is close to Commercial Street in Bangalore, and it was outstanding. Like I got 1+1. I was super happy about that. But
I see.
there's another question, Ameya. Is Ashwa worth it? What
Yeah, good question.
So I'll again put the sheet and I'll really talk it out, right? So if you look at the broad reward rates, like regular spends, it is not getting you anywhere, right? But I'll tell you what Ashwa is good for, right? If you are someone who is not having access to say a super premium card or even something like an Atlas for whatever reason, a bad relationship with bank, eligibility, this, that, whatever it is. In that situation, I think for getting an entry into a good travel card, I think Ashwa is decent. It also has a relatively low forex markup, 1% forex markup. So I think all in all, I think that's where I would position this card. It's a nice card. It's a decent card. One more thing I'll call out is IDFC in general. They've got a very clean and transparent process, right? You go to their website, things just work. I'm a big fan in general. You don't have to think that, oh, will I get or will I not get? You will know, and you pretty much get it or you don't get it. So I think positioning wise, that's where I see it, saying that like it is similar to Atlas from a value perspective, a little up, little down, but where you get the benefit is forex markups a little better and probably a little easier to get as well.
By the way, Abhay, interesting question. Like, because you spoke about Ashwa, like just thinking if eligibility is not a problem, like don't you think like just going a little bit up on your fee and getting the Mayura makes more sense because of the three killer features that they have?
If eligibility is not an issue, I think definitely go for Mayura, especially with the welcome offer and the substantially increased reward rate. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a very interesting question that's coming from Maitresh. Mayura versus Atlas. What?
Yeah, see, the thing is that these comparisons are very unfair, I feel, because every time you make these comparisons, you'll end up saying here miles partners are not there, right? Because without those mile partners, it's a fair comparison to make, I would say, Atlas versus Mayura, and then it becomes easier to compare because Atlas has a massive forex fee. Now, if you're going to travel international, I mean, Mayura wins by a mile, right? So but if you have a lot of travel spends, which are going to be revenue spends, then 10% Atlas versus flights and hotels pay, you're getting massive multipliers on Mayura, right? But then आप वो earn करके use कहाँ करोगे, right? Because so it's tricky to compare. So in my sense, if you were to ask me right now, I would say it cannot beat Atlas for what Atlas does as an all-rounder card. But there could be specific use cases if you have a lot of forex usage. And the comparison is Mayura versus Atlas. I think Mayura is a better choice. At least what I would say.
I will absolutely agree with that. I think domestic spends, Atlas takes the cake. But if you are having substantial international spends or a big holiday planned, you want a card to spend there, I think Mayura is by far the better option. Atlas,
or do a combo of both.
Forex reward, it's too much.
Or do a combo of both. Like if you can, because both of them will give you the joining benefits. If you can spend that 10,000 rupees, you have a deadly combo in your hand. One for domestic, one for forex.
All right. So I think we have a little over 600 plus people who've tuned in as of now. We have 150 on our YouTube channel who are tuned in live, and then 200 from our points from the Great Indian Miles Twitter, about 130 each from Aadil and Dhimant's Twitter. So that makes it about 600. So for those of you who just tuned in, what we've discussed so far is we've discussed IDFC's first credit card, we've discussed the Ashwa, and we've discussed the Mayura. If you have more questions regarding the IDFC cards, please put it here in the chat, and then we'll ask Dhimant and Ameya for their expert insights, and we'll start getting, we'll discuss them quite a bit. In the meanwhile, if you have questions on other cards as well, please put them in the chat. What I am doing in meanwhile is I'm bookmarking your comments, and I will keep them so that we can come back to them once we finish discussing IDFC cards. We'll discuss a lot of the non-IDFC as well because a lot of you have made it. So stick with us and we'll continue. In the meanwhile, let's switch to another card, which is a very forex-worthy card, potentially, and that is the IDFC First Wow credit card. So broadly, right? I mean, think about lifetime free, think about 1.5% cashback, no forex, makes it like super, super interesting. Can this be a potential first international credit card for most people, Dhimant? And if I were to pit it against Amazon Pay, ICICI, how would you pit it and what would be your thoughts?
Ameya, you want to take that?
Yeah. So I think first of all, the first wow is a FD back card, right? So number one, I think I've actually heard in person from someone with a really interesting, but I'm pretty sure quite common use case. Person was going to study for further education in America, right? Person is a student, doesn't really have a credit history and so on. It was a great card for him. Like it's a FD back card. You get zero forex fees. You get some 1% type reward points also, if I remember correctly, and easy to get. So I mean, irrespective of foreign trips or not, if someone is wants to build up a credit history, it is easy to get into. IDFC anyway has got a decent FD rate, so it's not the worst thing to put your money there in case you really have to push for it. I'm normally never an advocate of an investment towards a card, but I think in terms of IDFC, I think it is still okay. I think it's a great starter card. Like say if you're in a place in which you definitely need a card for a trip and you don't have a better option, just pick it up by all means, please. And if you're a student, I think just keep it in mind. I think it's a great card for that is eligible for say students or more younger people. Very easy to get.
Follow-up question to both of you, and feel free to take this, is would you pair this card with the private for a complete IDFC experience if you want to stay locked into the IDFC ecosystem? Or do you still feel this is like a very starter-heavy card?
Oh, they're very different, no? Like, I think private gives you everything that this does. That's also zero forex. Yeah.
So you're saying
You don't necessarily need both. No, they don't necessarily need both the cards.
Makes sense. Let's jump guns and let's try and get into a few questions now, which is outside the IDFC ecosystem. But before I do that, anything, Dhimant, Ameya, you all want to chime in, particularly on the IDFC ecosystem, before we move to other questions around other potential cards, points, miles, travel questions that people are asking?
So look, 2 points I have on IDFC ecosystem because we're discussing IDFC as a whole. Obviously, Jizzin, Miles, partners, because there is no rumor or any discussion happening around that, things will change a lot, right? Because this will then become a very wanted card, etc. Because you can make massive transfers, right? So that's one thing which you should be very aware of. Like, it's not still up to the levels of an HDFC and Axis just because of the Miles partner missing, right? Same is the case with ICICI also. The second I feel is like smelling a Air India card pretty soon on IDFC. We've been hearing about it. Like very excited to see because they done. I feel among the lot, IDFC Vistara was the best card among the Vistara ecosystem. Even though you would not agree, Aadil, because you love the VIE. But in terms of how the card worked, seamless, right? There is not a single time I have to do a follow up with IDFC on getting the vouchers on time. Everything was perfectly done. I love the tech that IDFC has, right? So I'm also looking forward to an Air India card from IDFC pretty soon.
It's not just you, Dhimant. All of us are waiting for the next big Air India card. It doesn't matter from which bank.
Yeah.
What we want is the gold status, and I'm sure we'll figure out a way to get that. I know it's not happening. That's something you don't agree with, but dil to bacha hai. There's always hope. With that, Ameya, final comments from you on the IDFC ecosystem?
I think it's good to see more competition. I think that's always a good thing. See, I'm generally a fan of IDFC as a bank for some of their digital banking interfaces. Now, there can be occasional glitches, but they are quite responsive and they fix stuff. In general, I prefer them to a lot of the other banks. As a banking partner itself, I'm a fan. I'm glad to see them, expand the horizons. Like I think their earlier credit card offerings were okay. I think it was great for lounge access and stuff. But the cards themselves are okay. Yeah, the Vistara card was great. Uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Air India one. Hopefully, looking forward to more miles partners as well. I think that will be a real game changer. And they made a statement with this. I think it's definitely a competitor to some of the other ones.
All right, so that kind of wraps it up. That's our take on IDFC. And if you enjoyed listening, here's is where you can access the Excel sheet that Ameya showed us today. It's a G sheet. So go ahead, go to tinyurl.com/IDFC cards. And if you type out that link, you will get the sheet. If you want to apply to any of those cards, there are referral links there. Do keep in mind that if you decide to take these are referral and affiliate links, meaning we get comped when you go through these links. So calling that out. And if you like those, please go ahead and get those links. But card लेने के पहले सावधान रहे, सतर्क रहे. Do your own research and ensure that you can afford the fee, you can pay the fee, and you're willing to abide by the card terms and conditions before going ahead and procuring said card. All right. So with that, let's come to a lot more comments and let's start answering a few questions right now. First, a couple of kudos that I want to give people. One is Abdul Kadir. Again, he's a regular on our YouTube channel. As soon as we release an episode, he's there. He watches the whole thing, interacts, asks a lot of interesting questions, and he's been planning his London trip with his son. So I'm glad he was able to score 3 premium economy Bombay to London Heathrow one-way tickets at 16,500 Virgin points each. I think it's a fantastic use of your Amex points. Abdul Kadir, kudos to you. Super, super happy that you were able to score this. More power to you. When are you planning to stay in London? So if you've done those redemptions, bookings, please tell us as well. We're always curious. We'd love to know. We'd love to see, how you're juicing and making the most of it. Rohan has also snagged 2 business class seats from Milan to Delhi for 110k points via the Infinia to Finnair route and then via British Airways and Qatar. He's already feeling like a point star. You are one, Rohan, because you just booked one. Awesome to see. Now, for those of you who have more questions, put it in the chat. Put it as a comment on YouTube or as a reply on Twitter. We'll feature them and we'll get Ameya and Dhimant to start asking these questions. Now, Ameya, there's a very interesting comment that came in from Karan. Why don't you start with the IDFC private debit card also? Is it worth exploring? Do we have any strong takes on this, Ameya or Dhimant?
I mean, it's a debit card. So, yeah, it's got a bunch of benefits here and there. They do have certain spend-based rewards that you do get. I've forgotten all the exact terms that is there, but they've got a slab-based this thing. So, yeah, as a debit card, it's good to have. You obviously also need to have a certain TRV and stuff for that. So, yeah.
Okay.
I personally feel that I think IDFC was one of the cards which was still giving reward points for also the CC payments. I don't know if that's still continuing or not. I think that also is a very lucrative because every time you spend a lakh on your CC, you're also getting points for paying via the DC, right? So as long as that continues, definitely continue to use that card as well. I mean, makes total sense. Like, for example, while I talk about the Burgundy private credit card, my Burgundy private debit card is the most prized possession that I have. Like it works amazingly well, right? It's almost as powerful as the credit card itself. So I agree with Karan. I think great point that you make.
All right, more redemption stories coming, and this is where I love hearing these, right? Devansh is saying that he booked business class Delhi to London at 27k Virgin points, but it's a 787. Doesn't matter. They want 787, 777, A380. The fact that you made your redemption, that is more important. So celebrate it, have a great time, take lots of pictures, share on Twitter with us, send it to us. We'd love to know. And then also tell us, like, where are you planning to stay? Are you planning to use Marriott? Are you planning to use Accor? Is there a potential IHG play? Are you thinking about the Ambassador? Because London has some fantastic hotels that can get you suite upgrades if you're using the Ambassador IHG program. So think about it. Let us know. We're always curious and hungry to know. There's another thing that I want to highlight from Saurabh. He says, after watching your videos, got upgraded to Regalia Gold from Regalia Gold to DCB Metal first year free. It's a fantastic card. DCB Metal is a great card. So congratulations on it. More success to you. Keep optimizing, keep listening. And, we hope you score a lot of points and then make a lot of redemptions. With that, back to questions. So, can you please, there's Angad who's saying, can you please educate us on which is the best reward program for reward flights from Australia and New Zealand? Now, I have two takes here. I'd love to get, Ameya and Dhimant involved as well. As soon as I see your question, Angad, there are three things that hit me. The first thing that hits me is Aeroplan. Aeroplan, because Air India has direct flights from pretty much anywhere in India to potentially Australia and New Zealand both. So I think first option could be Air India, but not via Air India itself. It has to be via Aeroplan. So think about booking Air India via Aeroplan. That's your option number one. Your option number two, if you're an Axis guy, and if you're a Group A person and you have Group A points, then there is no better airline in the world than Singapore Airlines. My love for Singapore Airlines knows no bounds. So that's a great redemption with a free stopover at Changi. You can stop over at Changi, spend a couple of days in Singapore if you like, or just take a stopover and move on. The third potential option is if you have a lot of Group B points, then you can potentially go to Qantas, because Qantas also has crazy good redemptions, and a lot of people are sitting on Group B points because most people tend to get over with their Group A limits pretty quickly. So those are the top three, my recommendations. Dhimant, Ameya, your thoughts on this?
So I would have said the same thing. So I have a New Zealand trip planned, and I have made up my mind that I'm going to go Singapore only because of the fact that one, it is low taxes. Second is that I'm sitting on decent amount of points, so should not be a problem in terms of points. Plus BizBlack, plus Infinia, plus Axis makes collecting very easy. Plus there is HSBC also, right? So Singapore Airlines ka advantage is you can merge from everywhere, right? So my recommendation would still be Singapore. However, if you are short on miles, Angad, and Aadil said that you have limited points in a Group A, consider Qantas. Qantas is a very good program. I think Qantas, I think you should also be able to book via other programs, Qantas flights. If I'm not mistaken, you can book it via JAL, right? Qantas or via JAL, right? So that is an option that you should look at. Because JAL has lower number of miles requirements. So that's because it's a slightly different program in terms of how it calculates miles, right? So look at JAL as well as one more option to book Qantas. And last, like Aadil said, Air India to hai, matlab, that's via Aeroplan, that's an amazing option. But my preference would be SQ.
Ameya, your thoughts?
See, the convenient option is SQ, but I have an Aadil answer for this. Go to Doha, and Doha and New Zealand, you can take the Q suites. It's the longest Q suites flight in the world. And I think a bunch of people have done this as well. So if you're able to snag availability, please and get the Q suites, fly the really long flight, enjoy.
I think that's an excellent. I don't know. People will call us mad, but I would love to do that someday, right? I mean, just enjoying that long flight.
हमने A350
Aloc
हमने A350
Aloc
sure.
मजे अलग level की feels है. So anyways, Angad, we hope you got that answer and that answer is helpful for you. All the best. Have a fun trip. Dhimant, आपका न्यूजीलैंड ट्रिप कब आ रहा है भाई? ये तो मेरे को पता नहीं था. Like Ameya,
नहीं मतलब it's no, so we had put all the miles and it got cancelled. So now the miles are there in my account, so it will happen very soon. Now, कब होगा ये भगवान नहीं जाने. April mostly is the next April is the plan. Let's see.
ठीक है. I think तो अगले 2-3 महीने में आप कर लोगे. Having known you, at least you'll put the fundamentals in place and get it done. So we'll do a Dhimant special once the reservation is done. All right, let's come to the next one, which is from Aloc. He says Magnus Burgundy, Atlas, Diners Club Black, Biz Black, Plat Charge. He's done more than 20 lakh points across cards and more than 10 lakh transferred to KrisFlyer, Accor, ITC, Air India, and Marriott. That is insane if you think about it. Aloc, if you're still there, if you're still listening, Just like you talked about what you earned, please tell us about how you burned them as well. Kya kiya, right? I mean, you got these, you transferred 10 lakh to KrisFlyer. Did you book like a round the world ticket with KrisFlyer while it was available until a couple of months back? Or did you explore like multiple countries through this? Did you go with your family? Are you a solo traveler? Accor mein, where did you transfer? Which has been your favorite redemption? ITC mein, where have you stayed? What's your favorite redemption? Same for Marriott. So please tell us about that in the comments, because that would also give people context in terms of the art of what is possible. So first off, congratulations on earning these crazy points. More success to you. But do please tell us about how you're redeeming as well. Let's come to the next one. This is a very interesting use case. Dhimant, we'll come to you. We'll start with you. Gautam says that he's very soon going to buy a car with a credit card. Now, he doesn't have the Magnus Burgundy for the obvious 14% uplift. So, what is the next best card for a 15 lakh rupee payment?
As of today, if there is one card that you can use with the 15 lakh card, would be the Atlas. I mean, aag band karke le lo, because joining bonus plus milestone plus your base reward all put together, you can easily earn like 7% aram se earn kar sakte ho, 7.5%. And let's take an example. 15 lakh pe 7% would be, I'm assuming, kitna hua? Around how much is 1 lakh type lakh edge miles, right? Or no, it's partner miles, right? Partner
No,
miles. So
partner miles, not edge miles. It will be lesser
part miles, correct. Partner miles 7%, which is not bad, and you should be able to easily fund like one international trip. And agar you have a Euro trip, for example, to a corporate transfer karoge, to like you can do the entire vacation on that, right? So I would say it's almost like getting a vacation free with your car. Go for it. And again, don't worry about the Magnus Burgundy 14%. Yeah, 7% is not a bad return. We live in a world where people are worried about getting 7% also. Like, aag band karke le lo. Because see, it's going to be messy to try and get the Magnus Burgundy so fast, and don't postpone your car buying just because you don't have one card, right? Don't do that. Go with the Atlas. And if you don't have the Atlas for whatever reason, right? So the next best card, in my view, at least still continues to be the Infinia, right? At a 3.3%. One call out, any card you use, please make sure that you check the MCC with the bank before swiping the entire amount, because you will pay an MDR with the distributor, the dealer, and if the MCC is insurance or utilities, there is a good chance that you may not get points. So be very careful about that, please.
I think Atlas
That's my recommendation.
I think it's a fantastic recommendation. Like you said, blended average could easily be 7.5%, 8%. And redemption is also very easy, right? If you don't want to get the headache of like booking flights by redemption because they can be tricky, just move it to Accor and you'll instantly get a 15% return on Accor, because the value practically doubles on Accor, right? So fantastic use case for a 1.5 lakh rupee holiday coming to you at like a 10% return on a 15 lakhs, which is insane. So, Ameya, if not the Atlas, what other options has Gautam?
I have two options for you. One is very topical. IDFC FIRST private card. It is great for this kind of spends, right? You're getting a great reward rate. So definitely, I think this card is the next best thing when it comes to these kind of spends. The second one that I will put out, a little bit of a curveball, you can probably guess what I'm going to say, is the Indus and Avios card. It has a nice sweet milestone benefit at 16 lakhs. You can get a great return from that one too.
Can you get the can you use this for the SQ card, the KrisFlyer card? Does that make sense? What would you get out of if you use the KrisFlyer card name? 15?
No, because the kicker is if you spend 7.5 lakhs on SQ itself, then I think it's SQ Gold and Star Alliance Gold. So I think SQ card is a sort of a bummer, I would say. But Ameya's recommendation, I think IDFC FIRST is awesome, right? Base spends 6.5% is crazy. Sorry, Ameya, you were saying something?
No, I was saying SQ card is still decent up to a 5 lakh spend, but anything beyond that, it is not worth it.
I think the other thing is again talk to this about your car dealer. If he's okay with Amex, 2 Amexes are not a bad idea. Think about 2 Plat travels. 2 Amex flat travels, 4 lakhs each. There you go, 20,000 of Taj vouchers, 100,000
1
points.
lakh points.
Spend,
Correct.
right? And you're still spent only 8 lakhs. Or baki ka 7 lakhs you can put on some other card, right? So I think like that also is like a fantastic combination if you think about it. There's one.
I mean, obviously there is. Sorry, there is one more card which obviously, if I don't know if Gautam has a BIS Black. If there is a BIS Black, that's also a great use case because you're getting the 3.3% of the Infinia and you're also getting a 1% milestone back. So, and you get milestone at every 5 lakhs. Means the return is 4.3%. So, in that sense, it is actually better than Infinia if you don't have the Atlas also.
Yeah, I think it's a very good analogy. With that, one interesting comment I want to share. So finally, we know there was this tweet that came to us from the law of attraction guy. This law of attraction guy is he was traveling in Emirates and he got upgraded to business without any status. He's Emirates blue tire and he was just manifesting that, oh, this will be super cool. And
रुको नहीं आदिल रुको पहले आप जब सब लोग चुप रहेंगे पहले वो शिद्दत वाली लाइन आएगी उसके बाद हम आगे बात करेंगे
यार होता है अगर किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात whatever, right? It's unbelievable. But you know, this really happens. Trust me. Like I've tried it. पता नहीं मेरे साथ तो होता है. The Lord is kind. But when Rishikesh tweeted to me, I practically jumped out of my chair, and I was like, "This is so cool that he got upgraded." But his handle on Twitter does not have his name. So finally, we have a name which is Rishikesh Upasani. Glad you could join, Rishikesh, and please do share what happens on your return flight as well. If the shiddat is as strong, and you know if the law of attraction still works, everybody should then absolutely get that book by Rhonda Byrne. I think it's called The Secret, right? Which is pretty much about this entire manifestation. All right, cool. There's another one from Piyush who says that he bought an X1, iX1, a BMW iX1, and now he's sitting on a bucket load of points, and then the accelerated rewards are yet to kick in. Man, these are amazing use cases of how people are using cards, right? This is so awesome. So more power to you, Piyush. Piyush, you bought the BMW iX1, which is cool. The points that you're going to get out of those AEP, what are you going to do out of that AEP? Where are you planning to go? And are you going to go in your iX1 itself, or are you going to put them to fly? Are you going to burn them in hotels? Let us know. We're very, very curious. Let's go back to a few more questions that we have. So here we've got another one, which is right here at the start. We discussed this, so I'm going to X this out. Which is the best airline transfer partner to book flight tickets for Central Europe? Sai is pretty much targeting Budapest, Munich, or Prague. Ameya, we'll start with you, and then we'll come to Dhimant potentially.
Yeah, direct flight into one of these, I think you can probably get Munich or Frankfurt or something on Lufthansa. You can book that. Probably, I think the best will be between Aeroplan and SQ, depending on what rate that you get. Air India could also be an option if you do want to pick it up, at least from a pure value angle. And if you want to do hopping, if you're willing to do one stopover to get to wherever you want to, then I think the answer is it's either Virgin or JAL. So Virgin, you used to book Air France or KLM flights, 15,000 plus 100 pounds, you can get it. Or you can do JAL. JAL will get you great redemptions for both business class as well as economy. You'll have to go through Doha, either Doha, or you can take Delhi, Helsinki, and Helsinki somewhere also.
My recommendation would be Lufthansa via United. I don't know if you're looking at business or you're looking at economy. Economically, I would surely recommend I would have used United. Like I have some miles lying away United, and Lufthansa business mushkil hai milna. But if you want economy, then that's a good option to go to Munich.
But United has increased their rates recently. 50-55K.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like the thing is that if you have miles lying around, you should look at as, because it's also gives flexibility of cancellation and a lot of other things. Obviously, that excursionist is now gone. That would have made it sweeter, but that's one option I would look at. Because see, what happens is if you have United miles, you also get few options, right? For example, you can fly into Paris, and like you have these options that you get like in multiple airlines, right? So What about Avios? Like, isn't I mean, I hate to say this, but Avios may would you not get a chance to go via, let's say, a, a, a British Airways or a Flying Blue? Wouldn't these be options?
Flying Blue. Avias you can do again, same as Doha you can do, Helsinki you can do, but typically the rates are higher. Like if you're booking those flights, Japan Airlines is the better one.
Yeah, got it.
All right, Sai, hope that helps. We'll come to another one, which is by Rakesh Nayak. And Rakesh says he's planning his first flight redemption, 3 packs, business class, falling short of 20K KrisFlyer miles, have an Amex trifecta and Atlas. Is there a way to purchase officially or gather 20K the other way? Yaar, ye simple hai. So what you should do is 10K to get the KrisFlyer Apex SBI card, right? So pay 10,000 plus taxes, so 11,800 you're paying. You'll get 10,000 as welcome bonus. So think about it as buying miles. You're buying like a KrisFlyer mile for 1 rupee 20 paisa, which is fantastic value. The second thing you can do is you can either move your Amex points to KrisFlyer at 50% conversion. But if you don't have them and you're exhausted, then check if you have Marriott Bonvoy points. If you have Marriott Bonvoy points, you can move Marriott Bonvoy points at 3:1. And if you book 60K, if you move 60K, they'll convert to 25K. SQ. So I think like those are 2 potential options you could consider, and I'd say go for it, man. Gun that redemption.
There's one more. There's one more option. Buy your Amex ka 10K points as well. That will again convert to 5,000 miles. So आपका 5 at least के वहां से आ जाएगा. So when you if you know about it, then call Amex or chat with them. Pay 4,000 rupees and get your yearly quota of 10,000 MR, and then you can convert those to SQ. That's another option to reduce your burden. And if you have a wife's account, then you can double it down as well.
All right. So Josh is asking, what does SQ mean? So Josh, SQ is Singapore Airlines. Their flying code is SQ. So we typically use SQ to call it, but SQ is Singapore Airlines. Nitin has a very cool comment. He says he went to Hong Kong last month. Thanks to 3 of us. Guess he watched that episode. Did all on revenue. Still has, is that 200,000 Amex points left. Tell me the best plan. Yeah, where do you want to go, Nitin? Wo batao. We will tell you the plan. There are so many things that, there are so many things that can be accomplished. Question is, where do you want to go? But Dhimant, go ahead.
We did this. No, we did this in one of the episodes, Nitin. I can't recollect which episode this was. Aadil, we said it was the Amex episode, I think, where we said that 50,000. No, Amex episode, that if you have 50,000 points MR, what do you do? 1 lakh, what do you do? And 2 lakh, what do you do? I remember we did something like this, right? And I think our recommendation for 200,000 Amex points was do Maldives. Like that was our recommendation. Use them to move to Marriott and do a fantastic redemption in Maldives was our recommendation. If you haven't been there, like that would be at least my recommendation.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल यार, Maldives बहुत सही है. And just hearing about Maldives, I am getting FOMO. Pretty much like this comment from Agony007, which says, this podcast makes me anxious, and after watching, it's like, अब तो कहीं ना कहीं जाना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं तो FOMO होते रहेगा. So as soon as you said 200K and Maldives, right? If you've been there before, and if you've experienced the hospitality of Marriott, man, you want to go back there again and again. I mean, the ocean just calls for you. So, all right, with that, we'll come to more questions. There's another one from Sanyam, which says he's graduating from IIT Hyderabad this month. Any alumni program he can tap into? He's got the ICICI Sapphire. He's got the SBI Elite through their alumni programs. Dhimant, you had a card that you got through your alumni program, didn't you?
No, there was a card which I didn't get from my alumni program. Yes. The Diners Black, and they have stopped it now. जितना मुझे पता है, Sanyam, there is Aurum is being made available to as alumni offers. I don't know whether it's LTF or not, but it's being offered to alumni of good colleges. Check that out. There is somebody on Twitter who is from the Aurum team, and he's been helping people also get those cards. So maybe check with them as well. I'll probably try and leave the name of that person in the comments later. And Sapphire and SBI Lite are the other two, correct? So I don't know any other card apart from this. Diners Black is stopped now. It is no longer being done.
All right. There's another one from Samarpreet who says he's eligible for the HDFC DCB Metal. Is it a good place to start for a premium card? He already has the MRCC and Atlas. Samarpreet, it's not good. It's a great place to start. A lot of people crave to get the DCB, but they are not getting. Agar mil raha hai, my answer would be Lelo. It's a great card. But just ensure that you have enough to spend, because you already want to potentially juice Atlas for 15 lakh rupees a year. MRCC is not that much, so I guess that's okay. But then if you definitely have spends of, let's say, 25 lakh rupees a year, then I would seriously consider adding the HDFC DCB. Any thoughts, Ameya, there?
I actually disagree. I think if you have MRCC and Atlas, don't get DCB Metal, because making up for the fees is a little harder. So the way I look at it is like, the incremental value that you get from DCB that you don't already have in this thing is, sure, I mean, Smart Buy portal and redeeming points there, but also the gift vouchers, and gift vouchers at 10%. Amazon Pay will come even lower. So I think incremental value is not there. I feel better to focus your spends on Atlas itself rather than pick up a different one. Like, are you going to make up for that 10,000 joining fees with the delta that you're going to get? I don't think so.
Also, it's a function of if you are doing enough travel. If you're doing enough travel, then this is extremely rewarding.
I would disagree with that, but sorry. Go ahead, Aadil.
No, go ahead, Dhimant.
I was saying I would disagree. I think if you're getting and being eligible for HDFC DCB, just get it. And again, my point of view would be very simple. Stay in the 1:1 equation, because very few programs allow that 1:1 rupee valuation, right? So, and also it makes you eligible for Infinia very fast, right? So, I would suggest get it. But like Ameya said, you may want to then try and concentrate that next 8 months ka spend on DCB Metal. Then don't try to spread your bets thin by saying कि मैं यहाँ भी spend करूँगा, वहाँ भी spend करूँगा. Then you'll have to reduce your spends on Atlas. Right? You cannot do both and then just keep the DCB Metal. Then it makes no sense in my view. So just think about that. But I would get the DCB Metal if this was my situation. I would probably reduce my spends on Atlas for the time being.
All right, I think that's a great answer. With that, let's come to Akash. Akash is saying he's parked the car on the side of the road. He's writing this comment to say thank you for the Marriott episode, motivated by the status challenge, and he's now Platinum Elite. Hey, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Awesome, yeah. Awesome.
It just opens up so many windows, right? I mean, you get your breakfast free, your lounge is free in the evening, so your food is sorted practically for the whole day. Lot higher chances of scoring those sweet upgrades. So fantastic, Akash. Glad that you did this and you're enjoying this. There's another one that we'll come to for Ameya. Does the Avios Qatar BA card give Avios on every renewal? And if it does, can we get basically tickets to and for 20K plus GST? Is Vidur reading that right?
It's 10K plus GST now. And if I remember right, it does have the renewal benefit. For 10K plus GST, you get 20,000 points. I'll double check and confirm that it has the renewal one. If I remember correctly, it does. It's a great card. I think I've been talking about this card for a lot lately. People have called it out as well. See, it's a milestone card, first of all. So I really like it. Welcome benefit is great. And if you're able to hit certain milestones, the 8 lakh and 16 lakh milestones, I think it can work out really well. It also has a few categories it covers that most of the other cards doesn't. Like, I know for a fact that a good friend of mine has been able to use it for rent payments. And, it works out great as a milestone card. You get limited reward points for rent.
Okay, Vidur, we hope that helps and clarifies. Very interesting question by Shiva. Dhimant, aapke paas aate hain. Shiva's got a property registration of 12 lakh rupees coming up. What suggestions do you have on government spends to bag rewards?
I think BizBlack ke alawa to I can't think of anything here. That's the problem right now. Shiva, I mean, it will help if you can tell me what cards you have. Because there are very few cards which can do that. So you may want to give me what cards you have and maybe I'll try and answer that question. But otherwise, if you ask me simple, the only way to do it is get BizBlack.
The other thing you could consider doing, again, depends, is 2 Amex Plat travels. One on your name and maybe one on your wife's name, if that's okay, but consult with your CA before you do this. So 4 lakh rupees each. With that, you'll hit your milestone. And because you'll hit your 2 milestones, then you'll get 2 Taj vouchers of 10K each of 20K and then 100,000 points. So that is the other hack or approach that I can think of. But I don't know if they'll accept Amex at your property registration. Do check that. If that's available, then that could be one potential route. Let's come to other questions that we have, which is an interesting comment here, which I think people can learn from. So let's flash it here. Aloc says that he used the BizBlack for property payment from Godrej, and he got regular as well as milestone benefits. So that's very cool. And as this is construction link, he's spending it on a quarterly basis, so he can juice those rewards even more. More power to you, man, Aloc. This is like absolutely the right way to do things. So congratulations on that. There's a question by Satya that we'll talk about. Satya has got an Emerald Private, and they've got the Plat Travel as primary cards. Spends around 15 lakh annually. Is it also wise to add Atlas to the portfolio? Ameya and Dhimant, thoughts?
Yes.
So yeah, Atlas opens up miles for you, and I think just for that reason you should add Atlas. Yeah, I think it mixes well with all of these.
No, you should, because it will open up a core for you. Neither of them have a core, so that for that simple reason alone, you should add it. Amex will give you access to Bonvoy at 1:1. This will add a core. So for countries where while Marriott is almost everywhere, but there are certain countries where Accor has great presence and gives great value, right? So that will be one reason why you should definitely get it. Second reason is that the base rate of Atlas is 4%, which is better than both EPM and Plat Travel. Plat Travel से काफी अच्छा है. So like I would recommend that 15 lakhs के लिए the sweet spot would be spend 4 lakhs on Plat Travel, spend probably 7 or 8 lakhs on Emerald Private, right? And then remaining everything you spend on Atlas. Try to hit at least the 3 lakh milestone if possible, because Emerald Private also has a milestone, right? So try to do both of them is what I would recommend.
Right. There's another one, which is from Saurav. He flags this, which is interesting, on the government transaction piece for registration. The Times Black gives a flat 2% on all spends, including government transactions. So that might be a very cool one, Shiva, that you can consider getting, because if you're getting a flat 2%, that's not bad at all. That's very, very good. And with that, then you'll also hit the milestone spends, right, of Times Black. And that gives you a lot more vouchers that you can potentially use. So great recommendation, Sarav. I think that's like a very cool one. All right. More comments, more questions. Let's move and let's come in here. Have you guys tried Skopje airport privileges feature? Any comments on that? Harit, thanks for tuning in. You're a regular on the show. We really appreciate it every time you tune in. But Ameya, any experience on Skopje airport privileges feature?
No, not really. I didn't bother to get it because I don't want to get another card for forex. But no, I don't know.
So, Harit, first of all, thank you so much for your question. I think you've been a loyal subscriber from day one, man. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the feedback that you give us. I mean, we've got a lot of good feedback from you as well. See, I am actually a very big fan of this thought process that KPI is pushing, right? Saying ki you don't have to go to a lounge. There's a lot of times it happens with me when I go to good airports where there are good eateries outside and I want to try that, right? But I have to pay for that, right? So what I've spoken to a few people, Harit, and again, this is not a first-hand experience. The privileges work well. So if you're eating something up to 1,000 rupees or doing something over 1,000 rupees, like you get those reimbursement very easily is what I've heard. So I don't think there's a challenge as such, but I don't have first-hand experience. I mean, if that helps you in any possible way. But I love the idea, by the way. Like, I would love more and more cards. Like, think about this, Aadil, right? I'm just thinking, rather than these cards giving a bulk deal to a lounge and paying the lounge, I don't know how much they pay, right? There could be a good sweet spot by saying, ki, eat something else. Like, for example, in Bangalore, you have this lot of this good local outlets. Like, there's an Amisharam cafe now on T1, right? There is a CTR on T2, right? I would rather do that than go to a lounge, right? So that's my answer.
The CTR is amazing. So for sure. The chai is good there too, other than the dosa, of course. So with that, let's move on to our next question. So Ameya, you take this one. Madan's asking, can you give your recommendation on which card to select between? And these are like the choicest of cards out there. Infinia, EPM, HSBC Premier, Magnus Burgundy, Vanilla Magnus. between these, if he had NRI spends of, let's say, 12 to 15 lakhs, of which 5 to 7 lakhs are on travel, which one would you recommend? And
Okay, I pretty much have all of these. I don't have the regular Magnus. And I'll tell you from practical experience, if you have Magnus for Burgundy and Infinia, then EPM becomes redundant, right? You'll not use the EPM. So I'd say if you have to choose, I will, put M4B first and Infinia second in that order. I think they complement each other really well. Infinia becomes a voucher card. M4B becomes your default. Like I think the 5x on travel through Travelage is a great deal, and you can like rack up a lot of points. Like with this 5 to 7 lakhs gets you a little more than a lakh points stayed there, 1,20,000, 1,30,000 points there. Annual spends as well, if you're able to force your spends on M4B, it really helps with AEP. So in fact, if I don't know if you have too much use of vouchers, but in case you do, then I'd say M4B first, Infinia second, HSBC Premier third. But if you don't do too much vouchers, then I think M4B first, HSBC Premier second. HSBC Premier opens up a lot of spends which are not otherwise covered by other cards. And EPM becomes redundant. I have it, I don't use it. I use it, as I said, just for buy one, get one on movie tickets.
all right, with that, Madan, hope that helps. The question from Kamlesh saying that, can you shed some light from India to Japan on economy using points? Yeah, Kamlesh, there's an entire episode. Our first episode was on Japan. So please take a look at that. All use cases are covered in that episode. And then if you have more questions, please let us know. More than happy to cover that. So episode number 1, our debut episode, was on Japan. So go take a look at that. Right. Dhimant, Harit says that he books 3 nights at 4 Point Sheraton, Kuala Lumpur, using 22,500 points and a free night from the HDFC Bonvoy card. Got upgraded to the studio with free breakfast, drinks vouchers, and amazing views of Petronas. That is fantastic. So if you're in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the Twin Petronas Towers, the 4 Points is a great view. 22,500 is like fantastic redemption. And we always talk about this, guys, Ameya and Dhimant, right? The HDFC Marriott Bonvoy card, so underrated, with the 3,000 rupee fee and the 15,000 rupees, the free night that it gives you. So again, congratulations, Harit. What a fantastic redemption.
I'm stuck at the last line only. I'm stuck at the last line. Amazing view of Petronas. That would have been epic.
Absolutely. All right. The next one is from Ishan. And Ishan is saying that he uses currently Atlas and Regalia Gold, used zero forex debit card 5 for international trips. But he now wants a credit card that earns miles, preferably transferred to Accor. And he wants this for his forex trips. So guys, what recommendations do we have? Ameya smiling already. Ameya, kya soch rahe ho? Batao. By the way, Ishan is a very, very cool, I think. So he's a friend of mine. He works for the same company that I do. If you ever find a super smart developer who's great at front end and back end, and who's got phenomenal design skills and incredible video editing capabilities, you will meet Ishan. You call this a purple squirrel. The purple squirrels are not findable. They don't exist. But Ishan is one. That's what I call him. So, Ameya, let's go ahead and take Ishan's question.
Man, you asked for too much. I think the only one that fits your bill is Dhimant's Burgundy private one quick credit card. But I think just to be on topic, if you're able to say not transfer to Accor, I think the IDFC Mayura is a great pick for you. You could also potentially, when the Equitas card comes out with their details, that could fit the bill as a low forex and Accor kind of a card. But no, I mean, I think Burgundy private, yes. HSBC Premier has a relatively low forex ratio. And IDFC Mayura. I think these are great.
Yeah, so my recommendation would be like Amay said, go for the HSBC Premier. That at least has a 1% forex fee, and you're still getting 2% back, and that 2% gets converted to Accor, so it becomes 4%, right? So like that's the best possible scenario. The other suggestion is use Regalia Gold. It's okay. Like forex fees are not so high कि मतलब use नहीं कर पाओगे. Still you can convert it to Accor, right? So वो भी एक option है. Like look at that option as well. Plus you have the HDFC का global value program, right? So you get that 1% back as well. So look at Regalia Gold if you're not getting any other card.
All right. So Ishan, all the best. By the way, Ishan is going to Japan in a couple of weeks, and the bugger is going not for 1 week or 2 weeks. He's going for 3 weeks. मेरे को ऑफिस में
Wow.
कल ज्ञान दे रहा था और बोल रहा था मैं 3 हफ्ते के लिए जा रहा हूँ, आप तो सिर्फ 2 हफ्ते के लिए जाके हैं। मैंने कहा करो बेटे, मजे करो।
FOMO.
So yeah, and he's very smartly planned out. So all the best, Ishan. Right, let's come to Gautam. Gautam's got a question. He's planning to get the BYD Celian 7 next week, and he'll be swiping about 20 lakhs. He doesn't have the Burgundy. What would be the best available option? We
We took
discussed
this.
this, Gautam, but
Same.
Dhimant, you want to quickly summarize it again?
Was the same person, no? Gautam only asked this, right?
No,
Or
no,
was it someone?
that was a different.
Oh, okay.
That
So
was the
use
3
the
lakhs.
Atlas.
3 lakhs, yeah.
Oh, use the Atlas, Gautam. I mean, that's the best option. If you don't have the Magnus Burgundy, अगर Atlas भी नहीं है, तो Infinia से कर लो. Also, just make sure that you check the MCC before swiping. That's what we confirmed. Utility or insurance, काफी बार they are tagged as insurance or utility. So make a small transaction, confirm it. Also, negotiate hard on the MDR. Don't give away 2% for sure. Like I have seen dealers go as low as 0.75% also. So please try and negotiate on the MDR so that you can make it worth the while.
All right, there's a very fun one from Suhail, which says, please help me solve the mystery. Does spending 9 lakhs in 6 months on DCB Metal qualify for an Infinia upgrade? So, मेरे खुफिया सूत्रों के मुताबिक, Suhail, from the people that I know who've tried this path, yes, it does. But it's not just a function of you spending 9 lakhs in 6 months. It's also a function of you having 8 lakh rupees minimum credit limit. If you do have that and you spend more than 9 lakhs, then yes, there is a very, very high probability of you qualifying. But Ameya, Dhimant, have you heard differently?
There is no set rule. What Aadil said is very right. Both of these conditions should give you make you eligible, but knowing HDFC, they can say no. Like because there is no official documentation that this you have to get the upgrade, right? So it doesn't qualify. Like there is no such document anywhere which says they have to give you Infinia. They will still try and sell you an insurance policy for God for all you know. Right, so I've seen a lot of people who've met this criteria, but they haven't got the upgrade. So one thing you may do, Sohail, is once you spend this and you don't get an upgrade within 1 month of spending it, mail your documents to the Chennai address that is there, and it works a lot of times. They're responsive, they reply a little slow, but definitely ये करो अगर आपको 1 month में if you don't see the upgrade in your net banking. That's what I would recommend.
All right. Follow-up question, very interesting question. Which card to take between IDFC Private versus Magnus Burgundy? Monthly spend approximately 2 lakhs. Goal is free travel. मेरे दिमाग में तो no-brainer है Magnus Burgundy. But anyone wants to challenge this and say go for IDFC?
Not me.
No. Ameya?
If you big certain kind of spends, big rent spend, or if this 2 lakhs
is also on Magnus Burgundy, right? You get 50K there as well.
Up to 50K only.
But the thing is, Amay, the thing is that if you are smart, right, you can play around with this 2 lakhs. You can try to make 1 month 3-4 lakhs as well if you're able to prepone a few expenses here and there. For example, if there is a way that he can spend 4 lakhs in 1 month and then not in the second month, then the reward rates are insane. Right, versus trying to do 2 lakhs. So one suggestion I have is try to break this 2 per month into 4 a month and 0 in the next month. If that's the way to do it, and do the Magnus Burgundy, you will recover the 35K in 2 months.
In fact, a friend of our show was telling us that he pays rent on 1st and then on 31st in the same month twice.
Exactly. There is smart ways of doing. Yeah.
All right.
And because your goal is free travel, that was another point, right? Free travel अगर आपका goal है, तो by default Magnus Burgundy makes more sense.
Absolutely. Just keep a caveat in mind. अगर Magnus Burgundy ले रहे हो, तो then the route is to go via transfer partners and not just like book like a smart buy experience, which is on revenue bookings. You can't use points for revenue bookings. You'll have to transfer and then book hotels and airlines. So just kind of keep that in mind. But no-brainer, yaar. I mean, the rewards are just too good on Magnus Burgundy at the moment. Lakshmi has this comment. She says she came on she attended our live stream a few months back where we did the Accor China one, and she got not one, but she got 2 Accor China subscriptions along with KPR for forex and booked flights on revenue. She was waiting for this live stream to thank us. Hey, thank you, Lakshmi. Grateful that you came in here. Yeah, tell us, did you end up going to China? We discussed a lot during this live stream, and you were planning the trip. Did it happen? Are your nights booked? How did you take advantage? Where did you stay? Drop them in the comments. Let us know, because the first part is booking. The second part is living those experiences and really cherishing them. So we hope you really enjoyed them as well. And we hope it was worth the money, right? Because if you're buying the Accor China plan, you're potentially spending 27,000 rupees each on the Super Joy plan if you bought that one, which is the highest tier of the plan. So then what kind of ROI you received, and are you now gunning potentially for Accor Gold or Platinum? That's the next question. If you stacked up your nights as well. So again, we're curious. Drop your comments in the chat. Let us know, and then we'll keep this conversation going. Right. We have a few more comments, so we'll come here. We went through this. So let's say, yeah. So Chandan says he's got the DCB Metal. The max points that can be earned on Smart Buy are only 10K. So even the 5x spends are just 60K a month for a quota. Where do you spend the extra spends? So Chandan, this is a great question, but it's also a function of how much money do you spend in the entire year, right? So what is the amount of money you're spending in the entire year? Based on that, I think we can all chime in with recommendations. But given that we don't know the budget, so let's say a use case of 10 lakh extra spends, 20 lakh extra spends. What cards would we recommend for, let's say, a 10 lakh extra spend and a 20 lakh extra spend? Dhimant and Ameya.
Go for it, Ameya.
Atlas, I think, just to complement. I mean, I know we said earlier that don't get a DCB Metal if you're already having an Atlas. But yeah, I mean, for generic spends, I can't think of a better card. So maybe what you can do is get hold of an Atlas and try to hit one of the milestones. Maybe the 3 lakh milestone. 3 lakh is 2.5 or 3. Atlas is 3, no?
3 lakhs.
Yeah.
That's what generally I do. Like Chandan, what I do is whenever I don't have a set plan or accelerator jumping in, I just jump to my milestone card. So either choose Plat Travel or choose Atlas is what my recommendation would be.
All right. With that, let's come to the next one by Hemant. Atlas 15 lakhs milestone is hit. Should he now get the Mayura for normal spends to get 3.3% or keep using the Atlas? He doesn't have any HDFC cards. What are we recommending here?
Atlas. 4% is a very good return rate even after 15 lakhs. Go for it.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Don't need a card specifically. You don't need a card specifically for just to go beyond 15 lakhs. If you want to get Mayura, get it if you have forex spends, if you have a lot of revenue bookings on flights and hotels coming up, right? If that's what your spend is after 15 lakhs, then consider a Mayura. Otherwise, continue spending with Atlas, I would say.
All right, there you go, Hemant. Let's come to a question from Prashant that came from Twitter. For someone who already has super premium cards like Magnus Burgundy, Infinia, etc., he has 2 questions. 1, does it make sense to get any IDFC card? 2, if it does, which IDFC card makes sense in this scenario? By the way, he already holds the existing Vistara card, but he's, like me, hopeful that they come up with an Air India one soon, and he'll potentially upgrade to that. So what is our recommendation here?
I'm in the same situation as Prashant because I have exactly super premium cards and I also have the IDFC Vistara. I'm holding on, Prashant. I'm not taking the jump. So I would say hold on. There may be a very interesting thing that happen with miles partners, etc. Till that, I don't think you require IDFC Ka private or those cards anymore at this point of time. At least that's my suggestion. If you have the Vistara, hold on to it for some more time and see what happens.
All right. Let's come to Sanjay. Sanjay says he has the Infinia card. Would Axis Atlas be a good combo, or should he consider the vanilla Magnus? He doesn't have any travel spends as of now.
Atlas. Atlas. Go for Atlas.
Even for base spends, Atlas is better than Infinia. Infinia only for vouchers or Smart Buy if you need to. Yeah.
And Atlas over plain Magnus because of the simple reason that the base rate is better and the AEP rate is also better. So at AEP you will get 7%. Atlas pay, if you do all the milestones, you will anyways reach that vicinity 6-7%. So in that sense, Atlas ke saath, like I would say, just continue Atlas and Infinia. Makes sense in my head over Magnus and Infinia.
All right, there are a couple of other ones that are here. This is an interesting one. Sarab says, when will Amex restart new applications? I think it's $1 million question, Sarab. We're all waiting for it. A lot of people want to apply, but we don't know what we don't know. I don't have any, I don't have any specific sources that have indicated anything. Anything that you all have heard, Dhimant, Ameya?
Yeah, I spoke about it in the last live stream. I think the date looks like June. So June is already here. So I'm hoping. But I think the one of the things that I also heard, and again, this was somebody who posted on Twitter, so this is not my source, that they are probably outsourcing their onboarding to some other partner. And that actually seemed like a bummer, honestly. Like, so it may even have an impact on the joining bonus or something of that sort, because Amex ka partnerships are generally deeper. They'll not just do an operations onboarding, they may just give the entire business of onboarding to them. So I don't know that yet. But June is what it looks like, Sarav. June, and let's see. Let's hope it happens.
All right, let's come to another one, which is by Shwetank. He says he's pre-approved for Axis Reserve and the ICICI Emerald, not Emerald Private, but the ICICI Emerald. Keeping the exclusions in mind and the recent devaluation, should he still go for the Reserve? And what about Emerald? My default answer to both of those questions, Shwetank, is no and no, because the Emerald looks like a very sad-ish card. If you want to take a punt on it and get the Emerald, and hopefully that opens up a pathway to you to get Emerald Private after 6 months, that could be a risk worth taking. But based on the current value props of both these cards, I think there are far better cards available in the market. But Ameya, thoughts?
Same. Get the Mayura. Like, I would say Mayura is a far better card than both of these cards. At least ICICI Emerald se to better hi card hai wo, for sure.
Right, we have a very interesting one by someone called the Wandering Jogi. Hey, looking for a credit card for my 7-country trip in November, December with guest lounge access and offline international rewards. He wants basically net positive after forex, eventually to cover his honeymoon spends. All right, what are our suggestions here?
Bring up the sheet now, Aadil, and Mayura is the card for him. I've shared screen.
Mayura is a perfect card. Yeah, I agree.
Let's come here. You want to share? Just give context one more time here, Ameya.
Yeah, so you get like above 20K spend, you get a net return of 3.29%, roughly a little less than half for regular spends. And yeah, you get forex. You also get good deals on booking hotels and airlines, which I expect you will need to book for your honeymoon. So perfect card for you, and many congratulations.
Guest lounge access नहीं होगा ना हमें इस पे?
It has some amount of lounge access. I don't know if international or not. I'll have to go back to the terms and conditions and check.
I think he's looking for guest access because he's going with a few people and he wants. So that's what we need to probably check.
Yeah, guest this one will not do. Guest, I guess Atlas is probably a good one to be. Atlas has a limited guest lounge access, no? On Priority Plus?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I generally don't use Atlas for that. Yeah.
I will add a comment in the video to call out what is there for guest lounge access. But apart from that, yeah, Mayura is great, man. And congratulations.
All right. So with that, let's go take a few more questions. So the question from Manu. He's sitting on 7.5 lakhs on Atlas. Group A transfer of 30K miles is done for the year. Should he spend more on Atlas to reach 15 lakhs? Platinum travel 4 lakhs is also done. The other cards he holds are Infinia, Yes Marquee, and EPM. In my head, the answer is yes. Definitely do it. Hit it. You can't go wrong with 4%. And you will hit a couple of milestone rewards as well at 15 lakhs. So it makes sense, in my opinion. It is by anyways getting you much better reward rates than all of those cards, Infinia, Yes Marquee, and EPM. Unless you have specific travel spends that can give you better, which is on Infinia or EPM for that matter. I would say the rest of the spends definitely put it on the Atlas. But any other thoughts or contradictory thoughts there, Dhimant, Ameya? Dhimant, we can't hear you.
Your logical answer is right, but I would say it depends on where the additional spend is. If there is an additional spend and there is domestic travel involved, I think EPM makes sense because of two reasons. One, that you will get milestones in EPM along with your base 3%, right? So 3.75 will be his earning over, let's say, an Atlas जहाँ पे 4 होगा, but he can't book domestic flights. And considering that Group B पे he doesn't have any other interesting stuff to do, then I think it makes sense to try the EPM. Otherwise, at least by default, I would say go till 15 lakhs. At least that sounds interesting.
All right, we've got JHS back. JHS, it's good to see you again. They've been on our live stream couple of times before with very good insights and conversations. So good to see you again, JHS. The question is, do you pay credit card bills with IDFC debit card and enjoy the sweet 2.5%? Yeah, I don't bank with IDFC, so I have no idea about this. Ameya, Dhimant, have you all tried this? Any insights here?
No, I don't use the IDFC DC, but yeah, I know that the fact that it gives 2.5%. So that's why I was saying earlier also that debit card makes a lot of sense for people who are paying large bills. I use my BPDC, so that's why I don't use the IDFC, but it's a great sweet 2.5%, like he's saying.
All right, there you have. So the next question is from Parag. He's got 40K term life insurance payment coming up. He's got the Millennia, he's got the Sapphiro, got the Amazon Pay, the Platinum Axis My Zone. What do we recommend to go ahead and pay his insurance payment? The de facto answer that's coming to my head is Amazon Pay, which is loading up Amazon Pay vouchers on Amazon Pay and therefore, making the payment, because then you get points for the entire thing. Otherwise, you won't. But other than the Amazon Pay option itself, any other hacks other than the platinum that comes to mind?
Yeah, before you go to any other hack, Amazon Pay is getting devalued. So we don't have the exact number, they haven't announced, but people have observed that beyond 15,000, they aren't able to make payments. So there is some devaluation coming on. So if you're going to load Amazon Pay, just hold on for some time, get it settled, and then do it. Like any other cards, HSBC Premier is there. Obviously, I'm assuming that you may not have it. So if Amazon Pay works, that is the best suggestion in my view. Otherwise,
I think
IDFC cards are giving
this
some
one.
points.
Tata New Infinity will give you,
Yes.
like, I think 40,000 is a sweet spot there. I think 45,000 per day is their limit.
Perfect. And Parag, what you do is you go to the Tata New app, you have the Tata New card, you pay via that, you get 5% flat back. It's tried, tested, it works. So you have to select your insurance company that and put your policy number and pay your premium there. You will get 5% back. I think that's the best you can get is the Tata New card. Great suggestion.
Follow-up question from Abhay Dhimant on insurance itself. What's the best bet for insurance payment? He's got a 1 lakh insurance payment coming up.
Tata New. Amazon Pay plus Tata New.
But make sure that they have a daily limit. So if this is across multiple policies, you'll want to pay them on different days, or negotiate with your insurance provider to let you pay in installments.
And there is HSBC Premier also, but I'm assuming that you may not have it. So that's why if you have HSBC Premier also, that works.
All right, let's come to Biswajit. Ameya, why don't you take this one? Does it make sense to transfer points from, let's say, Regalia Gold to Infinia or DCB in case of upgrade? Or should we redeem if spends are going to be in a core?
Redeem, no? It's a great idea to redeem this, Vajit. If you transfer from Regalia Gold to Infinia, first it will reduce by half. So it's a great point, Biswajit, that you're making. If you are going to upgrade to any other card, please transfer your Regalia Gold to Accor before transferring, before upgrading. Otherwise, we lose half the value. So if you have 100,000 points, those become 50,000 when you get, let's say, DCB, and then you will still get a 50% conversion rate. So it's better to convert it to Accor. No brainer. It's a great idea, by the way. Like, everybody should do this.
All right, we've got a follow-up question for you, Dhimant, which says you said you mentioned this in the last podcast. You mentioned that you'd like to travel to Rajasthan during winters. Any suggestions on properties in Udaipur or Jaisalmer, and best if if they can redeem points, vouchers, and free night award.
Adil, why don't you take it? अभी आपने booking किया ना, आप ही बता दीजिए. Like you would have better idea. I will also chime in.
Points
I
अगर करना है
suggested a few to
तो
yours.
there is the Udaipur Marriott, which is fantastic. You can get that on a free night award, and you'll need a top up of maybe 5K or 6K points. So Udaipur Marriott might be a good one. Locally, there are a lot of amazing properties on Jaisalmer. So if you have something like a smart buy, which is via DCB or Infinia, then local hotels are fantastic properties there. But if you're looking to thoda sa splurge and show a little bit of swagger and go in for a little bit of luxury, this is Raffles Udaipur. And Raffles Udaipur can be like a once in a lifetime experience. But I've also heard that the Fairmont Udaipur is opening in July, and the probable date I'm hearing, which is not 100% confirmed, is like 3rd or 4th of July. So in case you're there after that, might just wait for that. And if you're intending to do a longer stay, then Fora might not be a bad idea because you book via 3 nights and get one free. Just double click and ensure that the property is okay for Fora plus reward points, because oftentimes they are not. But for Marriott Udaipur, I think that's a great property. A lot of local hotels that you can potentially redeem. There's one called Ananta, which is also very good, that I was particularly eyeing. And then if there are a couple of sweet Radisson ones as well. Another one, by the way, which is one of my favorites, which I've not gotten a chance to do. I don't know when I'll do it, but the ITC
ITC.
Memento is like a fantastic one there. Keep in mind, if you have Culinaire, you can't use the Culinaire vouchers because that's not supported by Mementos. But you can use your ITC points, and right now ITC is running that promotion. So I've not checked the rates, so might be very worthwhile checking like what those rates are in this promotion at this point in time. So that's what I could think from my point of view. But Dhimant, please add.
So here is my suggestion when it comes to Rajasthan, both Udaipur and Jaipur. Jaisalmer, I haven't been. I'll tell you what I feel, right? So when I went, I also wanted to do some of these luxurious properties, etc. Now, if you are going there and you're going to stay in the hotel, please go with Aadil's recommendations. I would say they are great recommendations, especially the ITC Memento is a great property. But if you are somebody like me who likes going out and seeing forts, spend a lot of time outside, there are great budget properties, budget 5 stars or 4 stars that are available at a much cheaper rate, even if you go for revenue. So one example I can think for is Udaipur mein there is Radisson Blue, right? I've stayed there in 8,000 rupees. If you book early, you get 8,000 rupees, 9,000, sometimes 10,000. In Jaipur, for example, you can even go for Trident. Like 6,000 I've stayed in Trident. It's an amazing property for that value that you get. And if you can use your Infinia points via Smart Buy to pay for that, you will still end up not spending too much of revenue, right? So for me, that has worked better than sometimes splurging. But if I want to splurge, I would also recommend do a lifetime experience of going to the Accor Fairmont, Udaipur ka. Which one is that? Raffles, right? Give it a shot. I am actually planning to do it. Adil is doing it very soon. Like I'm also planning to do it very soon. So these are options that are in my head at least.
All right, let's come to our next one. Our next one is, which is the best CC right now for rent payments in India? Does Red Giraffe take rent payment via Plat Travel?
It doesn't. Plat Travel doesn't work on Red Giraffe. The best rent payment as per me still is the Magnus Burgundy right now, till 50,000 rupees, in my understanding at least. And I don't pay rent anymore, but at least my dad has used my card to pay rent once for some purpose. So
All right, there you go, Nishank. We hope that helps. There's another one from Soulful Journey. Monthly expense is 60K including rent. Can you suggest the best credit card? And they're confused if they should get the Atlas.
If you can, Atlas is a great card. It won't give you anything on rent, but it's a great card anyway. If you do want to optimize rent, the other one that I will put out is Indus Davies.
yeah, I would suggest, I have a slightly different opinion here because 60K is, if you have 60K monthly spends, right, my recommendation would be also to look at probably a card like Regalia Gold and start using that card so that you can start getting upgrades on that card. Don't worry about the rent, pay the rent via net banking, jaane do. Matlab, don't try to optimize every damn spend and get points out of it. But start getting into the ecosystem, and at least agar rent 20K usme se, ya 25K hai, remaining 35K optimize kar lo on Regalia Gold if that's a possibility. I mean, at least that's my suggestion. Because rent makes your life very difficult because the cards are far and few. Or take the Atlas and everything except rent, use it on Atlas.
There's a follow-up question on rent, Dhimant, from Nishank. Between BizBlack, EPM, and Atlas, which is a better rent card?
Yeah, I don't pay rent, but Atlas rent पे देता ही नहीं है. Atlas rent पे देता है क्या? Like, is there still give? No, it doesn't. So, BizBlack I haven't used, Nishank here. So, if assuming it is allowed, the choice is BizBlack because purely because of the milestone, right? So, but do check it out if it's excluded or not because I have not used it. BizBlack pay it is 3.3 plus 1% of milestone, so you'll get effective 4.3% minus whatever you pay to Red Giraffe, right? So, you should get 3.5 at least minimum percentage of reward points. So, I would say sell BizBlack if it is choice between three of this.
All right, there's a question from Shwetank. Spends are around 80,000 to 1.5 lakhs a month, predominantly shopping online and traveling. He's got Atlas, Vistara Infinite, Regalia Gold, AU Excite, SBI Elite, Sapphiro, IDFC Power Plus, and ICICI Amazon. Which card should I add to my portfolio? Yeah, Shwetank, मैं बोलूँगा एक दो card कम करो. You have way too many cards. Like the question is, do you really need so many cards? If that is pretty much what you plan to spend, right? So I would urge you to reconsider and figure out like which ones you really need to keep and which ones do you need to cut. If there are specific reasons you have all of those cards, then absolutely, man. I mean, it makes sense. But I don't think you need to add anything because the Regalia Gold is great. The Atlas is great. Between these two, you pretty much have everything covered. But Dhimant, Ameya, any thoughts?
No, I would say consolidate karo. Like I would say that keep Atlas, keep Regalia Gold. Like we spoke in the credit card strategy episode, right? You need one card from Axis, one from HDFC. You're missing the Amex ecosystem completely, Shwetank. Get the Plat Travel and close down. Like if there's an LTF and you don't care, let it be. Otherwise, close down AU Excite, SBI Elite, Sapphiro, IDC Power. IDC Power could be valuable because of your fuel spends. And ICICI Amazon bhi rakh lo. But AU Excite, SBI Elite, and Sapphiro, I don't see any major value adding to your portfolio. Maybe just get HDFC ka Regalia Gold you have, Axis ka Atlas and Vistara you have, get and Platinum Travel minimum. That's it. Only one card you need to add to your portfolio, Shwetank.
Yeah. Follow-up question by Piyush. For a big family travel, 6 to 8 packs, with everyone traveling in the same class, is it feasible and advisable to spend on flight, business, or first class upgrades using Magnus Burgundy and Atlas? I've been using only hotels till now. Yar Piyush, I would say the only airline in which I think this is possible is JAL. I don't have any other airline which I think
Cathay.
Correct. You covered this in the Hong Kong episode.
Cathay and JAL.
And JAL
Sri Lankan gives you lots of business class if you book via Avios. Up to 12.
There you have three amazing options.
One business class option is 8 up to 8 on JAL. The second we are saying is, like Dhimant says, Cathay Pacific will have up to 8 business availability. The third, you're saying, Ameya, is using Qatar, book Sri Lankan, and you get up to 8 business is what you're saying.
I mean, that's what I know. Of course, there will be a few more here or there, but this is anecdotally something someone has told me.
Yeah, but Piyush, before transferring your points, please check availability. This is super important, right? Don't just transfer and then figure out availability. First, please check availability. And I'd go out on a limb and say, don't be confident if you see availability on one date. Like have second backup, third backup, fourth backup date, because these can get sold out pretty quickly. Because you're saying if 6 to 8 have to travel on a particular date, समझो किसी ने एक ये date पे ले लिया, किसी ने वो second date पे ले लिया, then you'll get stuck. And you don't want your points getting stuck. Points precious hote hain. So just like have for backup dates and then trigger the transfer.
So I'll tell you one very interesting thing, right, Piyush? JAL and Hong Kong we spoke about, both are diametrically very opposite programs. JAL, if you want to go to Japan on business class for 8 people, you have to book like far in advance, right? A
At
year
least
back,
7 to 8
right?
months bare minimum. Yeah.
Correct. And Hong Kong exactly is the entire. I know one person on X on DM. We troubleshooted this for 2 hours, me and that person, because that guy was desperately wanting to travel Cathay Pacific. Cathay Pacific exactly ulta hai. They open up the business class exactly 45 days to 60 days before. So if you don't find anything on Cathay Pacific, you have to hold on till 60 days when they open this. Right. So just be careful about the when it opens also is a very important parameter when you check availability.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. That's a very good input, Dhimant. So, uh, so there is okay. There was there's a very fun one. Dhimant, yeah, आपके पास आते हैं. अमेया का भी मेरे को इस पे input जानना है. So Praveen says, which card for monthly gold spends of 4 lakhs? He's got IndusInd Pioneer, Axis Magnus Burgundy, HDFC Regalia Gold, HSBC Premier. यार मेरे लिए तो no hands part, very simple. As of now, this is working. I don't know when this will be patched. Mintra use karo and buy the gold. So if you're buying gold on Mintra, till now people have been getting even AEP, which is accelerated edge reward points. So 14% आपको मिल जाएगा Mintra के ऊपर. But that is something that has been tried and tested with people that I know that I can validate as of today. But other than that, on the other cards, I'm not sure. Dhimant, Ameya, any thoughts?
So first of all, I don't know whether he wants to buy gold coins or proper jewelry. I don't know that. So because Myntra पे से you can't buy jewelry. So HSBC Premier पे जितना मुझे पता है gold पे there is no restriction. You are getting at least offline stores पे you are getting points. At least till April 1st तो मिल रहा था. I don't think the exclusions have added gold. I'll have to check it and comment back to you on this comment, Praveen. Regalia Gold, I think retail में अभी भी you get gold पे points. So if I have to compare, if you're buying gold coins, Aadil's suggestion works the perfect in terms of percentage return rate. If you're buying offline, I think both HSBC Premier and Regalia Gold, and hence HSBC Premier by default is a better choice because of the higher return.
No, I think spot on. I'm going to have to head, but I think if you're able to get on Magnus Burgundy, nothing like it. Folks, I'm going to need to drop. You guys continue. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining, and bye.
Thanks. We just have 3-4 more comments. We'll take them and then we'll wrap it up. We have more than 1,000 of you tuned in live. So big
Wow.
thanks to you for coming in. I see that there are 170 people approximately on YouTube, and via 3 different handles on Twitter, Aadil, Dhimant, and Great Indian Mile, we have close to what is that number? That's crazy. That's like 200, 400, 800 change, 850 odd change. So again, thank you, all of you, for tuning in. We love bringing these conversations to you, and glad you all are kind of enjoying these conversations. So, fun story. Kumar Vishwas booked Mumbai to London round trip for 2 packs using Smart Buy last week. He tried searching for miles, but didn't find much options. Didn't have a lot of Amex points, so went with Smart Buy using Infinia Point. That's the beauty of Smart Buy. It's so convenient to use, right? Don't have to worry about transferring anywhere. Book on revenue whatever you want and redeem 70% of the points. It's beautiful. Congratulations, Kumar, on your redemption. Have fun. Let us know, how London was. So always a very special place. I always enjoy going to London. Let's come to Akshay's question. He's got an Atlas lifetime free and he's got a Regalia Gold. Axis is offering him the Magnus, which is the vanilla Magnus, not the Magnus for Burgundy, where Magnus offered is not lifetime free. So average spends each month are 1 to 1.2 lakhs. Should I go for the upgrade and close Regalia Gold? I don't think so. My opinion is keep Regalia Gold. It is potentially a pathway to get Diners Black and Infinia. And I'd say spend 15 lakhs a year on your Atlas. Everything else goes to Regalia Gold. That way you're also hedging, right? You have a part in the HDFC ecosystem, and you also have a part in the Axis ecosystem. There's no point doubling down on a single play to consolidate. Those are my thoughts. Dhimant?
Skip the Magnus. Skip it. Just use the Atlas and Regalia Gold. Keep the Regalia Gold. Use it only as a Accor co-branded card. Spend on Accor. Like that's what I would say. In fact, Adil, I would say go on a limb and say कि Atlas पे शायद 7.5 लाख ही spend करो. don't spend 15 lakhs and probably put everything else on Regalia because you'll get the upgrade faster. Right? So that's what my suggestion would be.
All right, I think this is time to call this a wrap. Yeah, it's been going on for like 2+ hours at the moment. This has been a super fun conversation. Big thanks to Dhimant and Ameya for joining in. But before we wrap up, a massive thank you to everyone who joined us today. Your comments, questions, enthusiasm, and this two-way dialogue mean the world to us. And it's what making doing this so much fun. Otherwise, it'd just be me, Ameya, and Dhimant talking. But now it's like we're talking to more than 1,000 of you, along with the three of us, which makes the Friday evening so much more better and even more exciting. If you found value in this session, folks, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow Points and Miles geeks, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on the Great Indian Points and Miles show for more live streams like this. I'm going to drop a hint. We have a very special episode dropping next week on Friday. We have one of India's most celebrated influencers that we are getting, who's got a crazy fan following. Guess in the comments who that is. We're not going to reveal it now, but we'll drop hints across this week on Twitter, and we're hoping you enjoy that episode that's coming up next week. But until then, please subscribe and follow the Great Indian Points and Miles show for more live streams like this, for more content like this. Until next time, keep swiping smart, keep redeeming big, and flying further. Stay safe, stay savvy, and as always, thank you for being a part of this Points and Miles fam. Good night. Shab khair.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo. Hidden treasures in every flight. Nights in places that feel so right. From deserts to the city lights. Get set, steal those dazzling sights. Miles stack up each passing day. Rewards come back in a million ways. In this game you want to play the Great Indian Adventure, yay! Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.